Welcome back to Conservative Conversations. I am your host, Reid.
And I'm Frank.
Today we're going to be catching up on the headlines that we missed since we were gone over the holidays. So let's get started. But first, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow on your favorite podcast platform. And to hear an extra segment, become a paid subscriber through our podcast host Red Circle.
Well, Happy New Year. This is our first recording of 2025. And, I thought we might just start there on this segment because I got to watch the ball drop. I know maybe not everybody stayed up and watched it, but I thought it was a really pretty ball, and they're retiring it. Next year, there's supposed to be a new one, and it's supposed to be all high-tech and everything, and I guess some people might be looking forward to what that looks like, but I don't know. It doesn't really sound that appealing to me. So I guess I'm interested in seeing what the new ball looks like, but I'm going to miss the old one. It was all covered in Waterford crystals that could like change and light up and make different patterns and stuff. And I just think it was really pretty and neat. So it'll be interesting to see what the new one is.
Yeah, I'm curious how you make what essentially is a really large ornament high tech, right?
Well, and I think there have been attempts at this before. Like there was like a millennial ball in like 2000 or whatever, and I don't think it was very pretty. And I think they retired it very early. Like I think it only ran for like 3 years or something like that. I don't have the exact number, but I just hope that this one's not another flop. And I don't know what's wrong. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right? That's how I kind of feel, but whatever. It'll be interesting to see the new ball.
Yeah, definitely. And hopefully everybody had a good New Year and a good Christmas with their family.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you another thing that you viewers might be interested in, if you didn't get to see it, because I believe it was on CNN, but they were there in Times Square. Somebody was, I believe CNN, broadcasting the ball and Times Square and the revelers there and all that. But they had this like comedian type lady on named Whitney Cummings who was sitting there like roasting them basically. And she was saying all this stuff that they normally wouldn't say like on liberal outlets, and making jokes that, I mean, I think you should go listen to it if you didn't get to hear it. But it's like, and the link will be in the show notes, but Whitney Cummings, her name. And there are several times that she's even like, are we still going? You guys haven't cut me off? Like, this is crazy. And they're like, nope, the floor is yours. You can go. But you can tell that it's like Anderson Cooper. Who does he work for?
Yeah, he's CNN.
CNN, yeah. It was like Anderson Cooper, and then I can't think of the other guy's name. Andy Cohen, maybe? Does that sound right? I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, anyway, I mean, you could see from the looks on their faces and stuff that they were like kind of shocked by some of the stuff she was saying. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of funny and a really cool way to ring in the new year, like stick it to the liberals,
Right.
But anyway, just something neat to check out.
Yeah, it sounds funny.
But then I guess I don't know if you want to go towards more positive things or more negative things next. Because
It doesn't really matter. Might as well just go with the positive thing.
Okay, well then Speaker Johnson got his re-election. And it went pretty, as Speaker of the House. And it went pretty smoothly, more smoothly than some people expected.
Yeah.
He was elected on like the first read of the roll call, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
So, that's kind of successful, and it's good. They needed to have that done to be able to, have things in order for the certification of the elections and everything.
Right. I mean, because that's all Trump needs. I mean, right before he's about to take office is the news of the Republicans having to fight about who they're going to pick for the speaker. Starting off on the wrong foot or on a bad foot. So yeah, I'm glad they were able to get that done too in one vote and move on with it.
Yep.
Cause especially since it was so close to, the certification taking place today as we're recording. Yeah. because they couldn't do that without having the speaker picked. So, yep, it's good to see that they got that finished.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it would have just been delayed, but it's
Right.
good that, they could just get it done. And even though, like I was saying on the last recording, Speaker Johnson's not my favorite flavor of ice cream or anything, however you want to make that analogy,
Sure.
it is good to just see this get done. And for
Yeah.
the Republicans to not have this infighting and just
Mhm.
be able to pass it and, just be done with the
Right.
thing. So,
Because that's what we're going to need when it comes to passing the agenda
Yes.
along the way.
yep.
Is the unified party.
Absolutely. But then, in the days between New Year's and today, there have also been a bunch of strange and not so great things going on. Like this crazy person in New Orleans who, I guess tried to set a couple of homemade bombs off on the streets, at least a couple of those, and then drove his truck through a crowd of people, injuring a bunch of them, and potentially, I can't remember, but I think a couple died.
14 people died.
14 people died, and several more were injured, right?
Yes.
Lots more injured. So, I mean, it's just crazy. And then there was also this thing in front of the Trump Hotel in Vegas where the Cybertruck pulled up there and blew up underneath, it's in the carport area.
Right. Yeah.
But they say that actually wasn't that bad because it was a Cybertruck and it sort of held in the blast, and most of the blast went straight up, vertically up, and not out. The Cybertruck kept its shape, its frame, and didn't really explode outward or anything.
Right.
So that was kind of interesting. But it's also what the heck was that about? Do you know? Have they found anything more out about that?
Not to my knowledge that I've heard yet. I think that's what they're still trying to look into. At least from what I last heard, that him going to the Trump Hotel doesn't really have anything to do with Trump or his incoming administration.
It was just some weird random act.
Yeah. I think one of the messages they found is he's trying to send some kind of message about something. People need to wake up to something about how the government is treating people.
Huh. Yeah. Well, then there was also this crazy story I just heard today or yesterday of some lady or wannabe lady, if you know what I mean, some trans person, or trans woman. I guess that's how they say it. Some trans woman stabbed a postal worker to death in a deli in New York or something, and that story was just crazy because supposedly this mail carrier was just in line to get a sandwich, and they got into some kind of dispute about who was next in line or whatever, and this person gets out a knife and stabs this postal worker 6 times, stabs him to death. I mean, I hate to chuckle through that, but it's just so crazy. I feel like we're living in an alternate universe or something like that in a way. It's an uneasy chuckle, I don't find it funny at all whatsoever, but in a way it's sort of what's going on with all this random violence. And
yeah, I know, especially in New York. Didn't you say that's where this took place?
I'm pretty sure, if my memory is correct.
Yeah,
there's a link in the show notes for today, but
I mean, that's on top of all the other crime problems they're having there.
Yeah, where that lady got set on fire in the subway. And
it brought the guardian angels back out. Have you heard about that?
No.
Yeah, the guardian angels are starting to,
reform.
Yeah, they're standing guard in the subways to help, I guess deter crime, because they said they're going to call NYPD if something's going on. But yeah, I mean, it's getting so bad that people feel like even the local police and the city government and the state government isn't doing anything about it very much.
Well, that's good then. That they said somebody should step up and do something.
Yeah. I've heard a couple people talk about there are going to be people trying to challenge the governor and the election coming up this year up there for New York.
That's good.
Yeah, definitely.
I hope they really shake up that state. I mean,
yeah,
they need it.
It's definitely not doing so good.
Yeah. But then to get us back into good things, like you said, today is the 6th as we sit here.
Yeah.
And they did certify the election for Trump. And it was really interesting, I think, to watch because I've watched this process before. Of course, we'll remember for a long time, I think January 6th, the big one, that the liberals harp on and on about and everything.
J6.
Yeah, J6. But this one was interesting to me because of the changes that they've made to the process. Not just the process, but the form, the way it looks and the way they acted out and everything too. Because there have been some people like Jamie Raskin from New Jersey who have said that they're going to fight this and that they're going to decertify the election and they're not going to do this. But it's so funny to recall that after J6, as they call it, they changed the law of how the count process is done. And today, as I watched, there weren't even objections. They can't even hear objections anymore. Because it used to be that you only needed one senator and one representative to make an objection. And sometimes the representatives would get mouthy. And you remember because Joe Biden, the time he had to preside over Trump's victory the first time,
right?
They were trying to object, and he would say, is it signed, is it in writing, and has it been signed by at least one senator and one member of the House? And the House person would go, well, I haven't got a senator to sign it, but if one would step up and sign it now, basically like begging somebody right then to do it. That's how it used to be. The House members would still get mouthy and would still make objections, even though it really wasn't in proper form for them to make objections. But now they've changed the rule and the bar is much higher. They have to have 1/5 because this is a joint session of Congress.
Right.
They have to have 1/5 of both houses to be able to make an objection now. So today it was quiet and it was just ceremonial. They just read it out. There were no objections, no funny business, no, you know what I mean? Nobody trying to grandstand or get attention or anything. It was just a nice, smooth process. And, that is what it is. But
right. Yeah.
I sort of miss some of the more theatrics of it because it was, it was kind of funny. And I think it would have been funny to have to see Kamala tell her own people, no, your objection can't be heard. Sit down. You don't have the floor. And I think I was kind of looking forward to something like that, but no, it was sort of a quiet and sober event today.
Yeah. It was definitely interesting. I was very uneventful. I don't think I really have too many comments about it.
Yeah, very uneventful.
Yeah.
But it's done.
Yep.
And it's been certified, and now on, the 20th?
Yep, exactly
Monday, the
2
20th.
weeks away from when we're recording this. Yep, January 20th is the inauguration for Trump 47.
That's right, and you can look forward to coverage right here on Contemporary Conservative.
Yeah, because we're going to be there in D.C. for the inauguration. We'll be patrolling the grounds as much as we are able to. Hopefully we'll have good weather.
Yep, and hopefully we'll find some good freedom-loving patriots who want to have some conservative conversations.
Exactly. I think it'll be a good time.
Absolutely, I think so too.
Right.
But the other thing that I had to say, as far as good news goes, is, I think on the last segment, we had talked about how Biden has been like sort of fighting tooth and nail to do everything he can to prevent or block or whatever Trump from being able to achieve his agenda and some of his campaign promises.
Right.
Like, for instance, I know we covered the fact that he had pardoned a bunch of those death row inmates and this kind of thing so that the death penalty couldn't be executed on them.
Right.
But apparently he's also been trying to sell off a bunch of border wall materials. And I think that's been going on for a while. But finally, there was an injunction or whatever you call it by a federal judge who said that he couldn't be doing this anymore. And the question was even asked how they were doing it all along, whether it was even valid or whatever. So luckily, that has been stopped. And so for these last, 30 days of Biden's reign, if you will, they haven't been able to sell off those border wall things. And I think there's other stuff. I mean, I read some headline about how he was trying to prevent us or make it illegal to do offshore drilling.
Yeah, that's one of the latest ones. I think it was today or maybe Friday, sometime very recent as we're recording.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what the outcome of that was or anything?
I mean, he banned offshore drilling for like 600 something miles of our coastline.
Yeah. Oh, I think I know what I'm trying to recall now. I think Trump has just vowed to fight it in court. I think does that sound right to you? I mean, that's
sure.
Because I also heard it with the thing where Biden basically gave all or however many it is, like 45,000 some odd government employees, a 5-year window where they can continue to work from home. And Trump has said he's going to fight that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard that also. It was like one of the unions.
Yeah, he basically referred to it. That's a quote. I even wrote it down. He referred to it as like a gift to a union.
Yeah.
And he wants to fight it. He doesn't want it to stick.
Right. Yeah.
So I think it'll be interesting to see. I mean, usually we do New Year's predictions. And I thought about that going into this, this recording, but I can't see that I really have any. I'm just sort of excited to see what Trump does.
Yeah, me too.
What he can do. Because I know it's going to be a fight and it's going to be a process, but I just almost don't even want to sit here and, say, oh, well, I think this will be done by March and I think this will be done by July,
Yeah.
I just want to sit back and hope and pray and just watch what he can do.
Right. I mean, in a way, that's similar to why I feel like I don't really have too much to talk about, because I'm just waiting for January 20th. I just want to get to it, for us to go to the inauguration and for Trump to get going. But, of course, I got to be patient. It takes time to get there. We'll get there. I don't want to wish my days away.
It's right around the corner, and we're going to be there, and we hope that you'll be there too, at least with us.
Right, yep. If not actually there, in spirit.
That's right. We hope you'll be tuning in. I'm sure we're going to be releasing some good shorts. Yeah. It'll be similar to when we covered the RNC
convention.
Yeah, in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Except I think this will be so much bigger, so much better. This will be the greatest inauguration of all time.
The most beautiful.
The most beautiful inauguration.
I think it's going to be good. Hopefully we have tried to reach out to our representative to get tickets to attend the actual event. Hopefully we'll be able to do that. If not, we're going to, go walk around the streets if it's not too freezing, try to interview people.
Yeah.
Or
Well, and I've read they're going to have viewing places. I mean, like all over the mall. And
right, that's
everything,
kind of what I was
so-
going to say next is, find some place that I'm sure we'll be able to go watch it, the ceremony on TV. Which, unlike when we were at the convention, we stayed outside of Milwaukee, so we had to leave by a certain time to catch the train to get back to our hotel. So we missed the big night when Trump did his acceptance speech of the nomination for the party, because we had to go. But this time we'll be there during the big shindig.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And hopefully, if you're in DC, you should look for us. Buy us a beer or a cup of coffee or something.
Yeah. Right?
But no, I mean, certainly, though, you should look for us. We'll be there in our contemporary conservative gear. And if you see us, flag us down and talk to us for a minute.
For sure, definitely. Well, the last bit of news headlines that I saw this morning is about our neighbors to the north. Trudeau is going to be resigning as prime minister and the head of his party.
Good.
Which is interesting. Yeah, that'll be quite the shake-up. I feel like he's been there for quite a while. Like...
it has been quite a while.
Yeah, I don't even. It's long enough. I don't even know who was.
Probably
how long
like the
ago it
early
was.
2000s or something like that, I would think.
Oh, I think he took office at least during Obama's second term. I don't think he's been there super duper long, but I don't know. I don't pay attention that much.
2015.
Oh, okay, it's a little more recent than I thought. But yeah, from what it seems like, people.
So that's like 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People have not been very happy with the prime minister up there in Canada. And it'll be nice to see a fresh new face and see what kind of partnership Trump will be able to build with Canada.
I hope they elect that Pierre Poilievre or whatever
yeah,
his name
I don't
is.
know. I know who you're talking about. I don't know how to say his name either.
He's really good. He's the opposition
Right.
now, the opposition leader. And I think he looks a lot like our Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson.
Huh.
Just in looks.
Right.
But like they could be brothers almost or something. But he does a really effective job as opposition leader. He's very well liked, very well spoken. I'd love to see him be the new prime minister of Canada.
Right. Yeah, that would be interesting. What do you think about this talk of turning Canada to 51st state?
I think it's malarkey.
Yeah, me too. It's not going to happen.
It's total malarkey.
I feel like some people are out there taking it seriously.
Why would we want it?
I don't know. I mean, they got a lot of oil, resources, that's all. But other than that, I mean, we don't need it.
No.
We don't need any more states.
No.
Our 50 states is just fine. We don't need to update the flag. It's the best flag. It looks the greatest.
That's right. No more stars.
Yeah, no
we got
more
just
stars.
enough stars.
50 is a good number.
Amen.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought that news about Trudeau resigning was pretty interesting, and some of this talk about us taking over Canada as the 51st state.
No.
No, that's not going to happen. Well, that's it for the main stories. I have one small story that we're going to use, or I have one small story that we're going to talk about in the exclusive segment. So if you want to hear that, become a paid subscriber through our podcast host, Red Circle. Alright, well, anyway, listeners, if you enjoyed this great conservative conversation, please follow us on your favorite podcast platform, Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, and many more. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search at Conservative Conversations 92.
That's right. We hope you might tell a friend about us and encourage them to become paid subscribers so that they'll have access to the same bonus and exclusive content that you have access to. And as always, we thank you for listening.